Again, before we move on to bowl preparation and talk about bowl game and University of Iowa, again, I'm very appreciative and grateful to be the head football coach at the University of Tennessee. And our administration since day one has shown tremendous support. And you heard Dave speak about all the time, he used the word team. And this has been a great team effort. And we talk about in our football program, everyone being all aligned. And it's an organization, it's a family, and it's beyond our coaches. It goes much beyond our players. It's our administration, it's our marketing department, it's our fundraising, it's sports information, it's everything, sports medicine, our doctors, our trainers, academics in the Thornton Center. And I think that's a tribute also to Dave Hart and his leadership of the stability and the vision that he's provided for everyone. And I think I speak for every head coach here. And the other thing I think that's very unique to this environment, to this situation, is the closeness of all of our coaches. We talk about being one Tennessee, and we are truly one Tennessee. All of them have been tremendously supportive, win or lose, always getting text messages of support. And I think that speaks volumes, and that centers around one of the greatest attributes you could have, and that's leadership. So I'm very appreciative for the opportunity. Now moving on to bowl preparation, and it's really very similar to, at times, a spring football season or a spring football segment, and also training camp. But there's a game that's very close down the road, but there's many things that we need to get accomplished. I spoke to our team about this yesterday, and there's so many things, and when you go to a postseason opportunity, it presents those opportunities to improve on them. And first and foremost, we have to get our health back as a football team. We talked about continuously throughout the course of the season of the inordinate amount of repetitions, the volumes of repetitions that our players have had to play with. And we've had some injuries. We've had some individuals really trying to play. I think one person who really goes unnoticed is Josh Malone. Josh Malone has been going through some nagging injuries in a number of areas, and Josh doesn't say anything. He just tries to compete. I know it's bothered him because he hasn't been able to get out there and give everything that he has, but he's attempted to give all that he has, and he will give all that he has. So he'll have a great week of bowl preparation. We spoke about that with doing his due diligence, which he has in the training room. But, you know, I know it's kind of bothered him, but just like all the individuals that have been hurt, he'll bounce back because he's Josh Malone. You look at Jason Kroom, another individual who's trying to fight through some injuries. So, again, we've challenged him in the strength and conditioning area. Another individual who's been banged up probably since week 2 has been Daniel Helm with an ankle. And he never says 2 words about it. He just continues to go out there and practice each and every day. And these are all youngsters. And then we all know about Kurt Majit. Getting his health back, Matt Crowder as well. And all these individuals will play in the TaxSlayer Bowl. They'll play in the Gator Bowl. So, again, it's just an opportunity to get our health back. And then individual improvement, the fundamentals, the fine details of what it takes to play winning football, just the overall growth and development from a fundamental standpoint, but also in the strength and conditioning area. We've had so many individuals this year. When you play the inordinate amount of freshmen that we've had to play, you do not have the luxury of putting them through basically an off-season, in-season strength and conditioning program. So to be able to go back and kind of work on our strength levels, and that will provide tremendous momentum for when we do come back and when we do start our strength and conditioning sessions in January, that they're not sitting at home for a month and a half, that they have already gone through that, and that's going to help in their continued growth and development. And then team togetherness. We talked about the longevity, the life expectancy of this football team, and it gives us a few more weeks to be together, continue to grow our family, our brotherhood, excited about that, and then an opportunity to compete and represent the state of Tennessee and the entire University of Tennessee and Vol Nation, and to be able to compete on the center stage January 2nd is a great platform to show the entire country of what we're building and what's going on here at Tennessee. I know our fan base is energized. I got word yesterday that our fan base actually crashed the Bowl website. And so I don't know if they have it up and running yet, but that's a tribute to them. And it's a great accomplishment to play in a January bowl game, and our fan base can take great pride in knowing that they also had a hand. They also were a deciding factor of that January 2nd bowl game because of the loyal support, the energy that they've provided to this football program. And this support has started for 2 years, but you just look at this past year of our spring game in the attendance. You look at our open practice in the attendance. You look at fan attendance up. You look at our student body and everything that they've meant. There are special things going on here, and I hope everyone realizes that, and we have concrete evidence surrounding those statements. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Once you go to a bowl, obviously a reward for the guys, and some coaches over the years have said, you know, it's also a business trip. How do you look at these types of trips?
Both. It's a reward. It's a reward for our fan base. It's a reward for our football team. It's a reward for our seniors. But make no mistake about it, you go there to win the football game. Your preparation, your mental effort, your mental intensity doesn't change one bit. And so it's all in your approach. We have to have tremendous practices here in Knoxville. And then when we go down to Jacksonville, we have to have a bullseye focus, which we talk about. But there's one thing to be a participant in the bowl game. It's another to win the bowl game. This is going to be a great challenge for us. I had the opportunity. I was in early this morning before I come back from recruiting. Then I go out for recruiting. But my iPad is loaded with Iowa video, and I was able to watch one of their games from this past season. Very physical football team, very sound, very well coached. So again, it all comes in your preparation.
But you've obviously talked about kind of the life expectancy of this team, but what can the bowl game do in terms of kind of being a springboard in the offseason, kind of generating momentum in the offseason?
Great springboard. When you look at them experiencing, a 5:30 emergency team meeting and them sitting in there and finding out that they're going to be playing in a January bowl game and just seeing their excitement. We spoke about all year about digging for that gold. And we've talked about we're in a pit and we're digging for that gold, and we could finally start to see that gold starting to shine through. And most people quit right before, and maybe they need just one more shovel full of dirt to reach that gold, and a lot of people quit, and the success is right there. And we spoke about that continuously throughout the course of the season. Excuse me. And this was never more evidence, but also it's a great illustration for all of our younger players in the program on how to manage the natural adversities that a long football season brings about, how you control everything, but also the standard, the expectations, and it really is a game of inches. I believe 14 points on our side of the division this year was the difference. And so we'll go back and we're going to search for those 14 points when January comes. But it's just an illustration of working hard, the vision and the standard and the expectations that we place forth, that we have placed forth in this football program.
Coach, certainly not lost on this, the ability to show off your team in a January bowl from a recruiting standpoint as well.
Monumental. Again, it's evidence now with prospective student athletes of what's going on here, and I think it speaks volumes that the TaxSlayer Bowl would invite the University of Tennessee. And they had many options. They had many choices. So again, I believe it'll really help us. It should help, cement, so to speak, our recruiting and bring that class together. But also, it's an illustration of what's going on here. So, we have 13 players from the state of Florida. So for them to be able to go back home and really play before their friends and their families will be very special to them as well.
For fans and even a lot of us in the media, this game wasn't really on our radar. When did it become on your radar?
5:30 yesterday afternoon, and Dave Hart walked in, maybe 5:20. Dave Hart walked into my office with a big smile, and I tell you what, Dave deserves applause and great appreciation for making this happen. And I know that he worked tirelessly, he worked relentlessly, as he always does each and every day for all of our sports, but he deserves a great thank you because he was instrumental in getting this done.
Coach, quickly on the contract, how much did you just want to get it tied up and get it out of the way so that it wasn't a distraction, whether that's for bowl prep or on the recruiting trail or anything?
Well, it was never a distraction, but again, it's nice to be able to focus on preparing our football team, developing our players, and going out on the recruiting end. And I think it, again, it's just closure to a lot of things, and now we're able to focus on the things that we need to focus on.
Coach, do you worry at all about a group of guys that haven't been to a bowl game before and they're having a couple of weeks off from practice, about, I guess, reeling them back in and getting them focused, or do you feel like this team, even though they're young, is mature enough to handle that?
Well, you're always concerned, but the body of work throughout the course of the season, the leadership that has been provided by everyone in our football program, I have evidence now that they're mature beyond their years. They understand the task at hand. It's our job to continue to educate them on the bowl process. There isn't anyone who can really step up in a room who's participated in a bowl game and say, this is how you handle yourself. So we have great character young men in our football program. But we'll speak about that. We'll continually speak about it. But, I'm evaluating them all the time, and their first evaluation or their first examination was Saturday when we practiced. And I thought they had tremendous energy. I thought it was the energy, the excitement was like equivalent to the first day of spring practice. And they got after it, they competed, and then we backed it up with another solid practice. Yesterday, more team setting, trying to condition our bodies, condition the mind to play multiple plays, to play extended plays. We'll take a number of days off now for exams, and then they'll resume their activities in the strength and conditioning area, and then we'll practice on the weekends, and then next week will be critical in installing the game plan and getting back to the fundamentals and the fine details of winning football.
Which I'm sure all of the practices are big during this 15-day stretch, but for the guys that redshirted or missed the season due to injury, a guy like Duncan's player, how big are these 15 to kind of springboard into spring practice?
Very big. Can't put a price tag on it, can't put a value. That's how big it is. They're invaluable. Again, for them, you think about it, they would be concluding exams this week and going home for a month and 10 days, a month and 15 days. So no matter how hard you work at home, it never simulates a team setting in the way we work here on campus. So to be able to have them now for a few more weeks extra, be able to work on their specific skill set of playing that position, be able to compete, but also get in the strength and conditioning room, it's invaluable. We needed this in our football program. We needed it when you have, again, the inordinate amount of freshmen. You look at Rashawn Golden. He's been really provided some depth and stability in terms of the special teams game for us, but he needs every repetition he can get at the defensive back position. Same thing with Emmanuel Mosley, Evan Berry. A lot of individuals, and then the individuals that are being redshirted, but also the individuals that have played very sparingly in terms of their offensive and defensive roles. Now to be able to get them continuous repetitions in competitive situations, invaluable.
You had experience in the bowl atmosphere, and players, for the most part, don't. What advice have you given them just in terms of balancing exams with football, just the atmosphere they're going to be dealing with once they get to Jacksonville and all that stuff?
It's all about living in the moment, the power of one, which we've talked about all year. And right now I want all their total focus on exams and winning in the classroom. That's first and foremost. Then once we win in the classroom, then we go into bowl preparation. So again, it's just focus on the moment. Treat every day as an opportunity to continually get better, and it's every individual in our football program taking that, the individual accountability. They're responsible for their own self-determination to be the best that they can possibly be, and we'll continue to educate them, with the, how do you handle the clutter and the distractions, especially when you get to the bowl site. All those little things, and I'm going to have to rely on, our mature players, our older players, and they're very focused, they're very driven, and when they watch the video in Iowa, they'll understand that we have to play our best football. that's the thing. When you go to a bowl game, everybody's good. You know, you're playing against, you know, top level competition. And so, again, everything is in your preparation.
What was it seem like yesterday when you called that emergency meeting, especially with the seniors? What was their reaction like?
Very emotional. You know, they're sitting in there and they think they know what's coming, and you know that they don't know what's coming. And so to be able to walk in there and talk to them about just being part of this whole bowl experience and postseason opportunities and what it presents and where our football program is, and we took a quick journey back in memory lane of how far we've come when we started this journey last year. You know, we started this journey on Monday after the Kentucky game, the conclusion of the Kentucky game. And every year they were used to having a couple weeks off. We went right into our off-season strength and conditioning program to let them understand that, you know, it's unacceptable to not be going to bowl games at the University of Tennessee. And right away they embraced that. And so we spoke about that. And then to be able to tell them that they're going to Jacksonville, Florida on January 2nd, and to see their reaction is a moment that I'll always remember in coaching.
When you say you know they didn't know what was coming, where do you think they thought they were going? Where did you think you were going? I mean, how did this, when you say it came out of nowhere at 5:20, was this that big a shock to everybody in the program?
Yes, because they listened to you guys. You know, with the invention of Twitter and, you know, even all these fictitious websites and erroneous things that are out there, you know, you can't help but, you know, hear it. And I even saw a couple false reports, and I'm like, this can't be happening. And again, it just goes to show you that you just, you know, you deal with the facts, and sometimes you may think you really know and you don't know. And so those players really walked into that room not knowing what was coming, just like myself. Up until, like I said, about 5:20, you know, I was believing and hearing the same things everyone else was.
How do you handle this time of year when other coaches are putting together staffs and could be targeting your staff? Is that something you pay any attention to, or just worry about that when it happens?
You focus on the task at hand. I think if other coaches or institutions come after your coaches, it's a compliment to your football program. It's a compliment to what you're doing. And everyone around the country knows what we're doing here at Tennessee. When you look at the improvement on the field, you look at the growth and maturation of this program, especially with the inordinate amount of youth that we have, but also from a recruiting standpoint, just an overall culture in our football program. So when you're doing things right, there are going to be people that try to, you know, come after your coaches.
Along those lines, Butch, how important was it when you were talking with Dave that you got an increase in your assistant coach's salary pool?
Critical. It's really not about me. It'll never be about me. It's about our football program at the University of Tennessee and rewarding achievement, which Dave Hart just spoke about. And it's all about the coaches, and it's all about everyone in this football program. And no one person is ever bigger than the University of Tennessee football program. And that's the way I've always run our organization, our football family, and it's all about people. And you win with people, and we have great people in place.
What's the latest with A.J. Johnson and Mike Williamson?
Status quo right now.
As far as I was concerned, I heard Joe Henderson might not be back next semester. Is there anybody else that you're might not be?
Yeah, it's all speculation. Joe, we're finishing up on some things with the NCAA. We have a couple individuals right now that are trying to sort out what they want to do with their lives and what lies ahead of them, and we'll be supportive of them. If they decide they want to be a part of something special, then hey, let's go. If they decide, hey, this isn't for me and I want to take another life path and go home or do this, then we'll support that as well. But we want people that want to be here, that are committed to, every individual is committed to this football program, to the state of Tennessee and the University of Tennessee.
But as of now, you don't know of anybody that's not going to be there.
There's some individuals that they're trying to make some decisions of what they want to do, and I think it's inappropriate in this setting. Some of that is personal because I care about them, and just like every player in our program, I want what's best for them.
Jalen had a green jersey the other day. You expect him to be full go
Absolutely. He's had a green jersey for about the last 4 weeks, and a lot of that has nothing to do with health. It has to do with the health of the position. Right now, we don't have much depth at the running back position, so you have to pick your spots. When you practice with a high level of physicality, you have to pick your spots. So a lot of that is just protecting him because of our depth at that position.
In terms of what knocked him out against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he's been cleared. He's full go. Yep.
How does Devin Young look after a couple days of
Yeah, Devin Young's been back in practice, and it's been great to have him back. He's not 100% yet, but he's worked exceptionally hard. It's a tribute to him that he's been able to have a number of weeks off and step up and come in and not miss a beat. And so he adds another element, another dimension to our offense. So we need to continue to progress with him, and just very proud of him that, it's been very easy to walk away and say, I'm done. And he's shown great resiliency. He's persevered just like a lot of our players have, and very proud of him.
But when you've been out on the road recruiting this last week and going into this week, has it been different, being able to say, look, we made a bowl game as opposed to last year when you guys didn't make a bowl game?
What obviously makes it a lot easier. And then when you couple the fact that it's a January 2nd bowl game, the great tradition and pageantry of the bowl game, that just adds to it. But even if we didn't, all our prospective student athletes understand what's going on here. And unless you're in it every day, it's night and day, and it's a tribute to our players. Our players have done a tremendous job. They've done everything that we've asked of them. I'm indebted to them. And it's our job to coach them, to critique them, to push them where they can't take themselves, but also we love them. And they mean a lot to our entire staff because of what we've been through this entire season. But it does help in the recruiting aspect of things. And, it's now when you turn every TV show on, every sports show, they're going to be talking about the University of Tennessee. They're going to see that national brand, that Power T, every day when they talk about the bowl games. And then obviously the great bowl game, the TaxSlayer Bowl, adds to that as well.
When you have energetic practice like on Saturday, do you see that rubbing off on prospective student athletes who are in that practice?
Absolutely. I think that energy rubs off on everyone. It's contagious. And, we talk about you're either fountain or a drain. What are you? And we want fountains. And, it gets back to the energy bus. Everyone having the word on the front of their bus, no energy vampires. Energy vampires zap everyone of their energy. And we talk about that all the time. And what happens is you start to build a culture. And if you do have an energy vampire, they become uncomfortable because there's not a lot of them around. And they're either forced to conform or they eliminate themselves. And that's part of building a culture within your football program. And our players have done a tremendous job. We walked out on Saturday and they energized me. I didn't have to say anything. And they came out ready to compete. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for, is that your players show up with a workmanlike mentality each and every day. And this football team has done this on a consistent basis. You really look, there hasn't been one game all year that we have been what some people call flat. And that's a tribute to our leadership. It's a tribute to our players. They've done a great job of preparing. Now we're going to need to take the next step in this bowl preparation because much is given, much is required, and the stakes now become that much higher.
The perception is that the SEC is a speed league and the Big Ten's a power league. How much does that apply to this game with Iowa?
I think a lot of it is just perception. Every conference, every team has a style of play. And we always talk about at Tennessee, we want to play to a style of play that's only common and unique to Tennessee. But I don't believe in that. The Big Ten has great football. They have very, very good speed. They're physical. It's a very, very good football conference. So I really don't get into that. All I do is I look at the opponent that we're playing and dissect them. And the little bit that I've been able to watch with Iowa, we're going to have to play our best football.
Do you have a sense of last schedule yet in terms of when you guys will leave for Jacksonville and how many practices will be down there as opposed to here?
Yeah, that's ongoing in terms of the schedule for the bowl game. But I believe right now we'd be leaving the 27th of December to go down there. But all that is kind of, we're going to solidify all that and all the particulars as soon as this press conference is over, go back, spend time on the bowl calendar, and then hit the road on the recruiting trail.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, and happy holidays.